All right, you ever hear the DBT deck right here? The DBT deck, Dialectic Behavioral Therapy, is what I use to get out of anxiety, depression, bipolar. If you have any of those, please, this is something that I use, and we're going to go over today with a couple cards randomly, and let's see where we got. Again, this is Pete, Mental Mobility Podcast. Thanks for coming out on Monday. Mental Health Mondays. We're here very short. It'll be fast, so let's check this out. So, first card up. These cards are cool because it kind of tells you things to do randomly or something to work on or a skill to help your anxiety or depression. And of course, you could look at them or you can just take one out and go boom, 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 boom. Bunch of cameras. This one says opposite to emotion, O2E, to justified guilt. Reading. If you make a mistake or behave poorly and hurt someone, then feel grateful for the guilt that follows, since it means you care about others in your relationship with them. Again, if you make a mistake or behave poorly and hurt someone, then feel grateful for the guilt that follows, since it means you care about others in your relationship with them. Nonetheless, many of us sink into that guilt and make it worse through avoidance rather than improving the situation through opposite action. If you hurt someone, then seek that person out and apologize. Make amends, commit to not making the mistake again, and then let it go. Take the action today if you owe someone an apology. If you say something in your manic behavior, in your anxious behavior, in your depressed behavior, and you say, I said too much, more than that needed to be said, and now you feel guilty about it, and it's going to ruin your day. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to ruin your day because you have the shakes, you have the chills, it's in the back of your mind, you just can't let it go. Do opposite action, because the action that you want to do, or what I want to do, is that I want to avoid them, right? Never bring it up. Hopefully they forget about it, change their mind, right, about what I just said to them or what I did to them. And usually no one forgets that. And the hardest thing is the one motto that I always preach, is that all progress starts with the truth. And I didn't make that up. It's been out there. My mentor, Paul Reddick, told me that a long time ago, and it's been something that I've held on to. A lot of people on the West Coast don't do that shit because motherfuckers are fake, right? But on the East Coast, they're real, and they'll tell you exactly how they feel. And that's the biggest thing, right? On the East Coast, just get it over with, tell them how you feel, and then move on with your life. And that is a huge thing, especially in OTE, opposite action, right? Is to make sure you just get it over with. Just talk to the person that you love, the one you care about, that maybe you have brushed the wrong way, or maybe said something stupid after thought, and just apologize. Bring up the situation. As hard as it's going to be, it's better to take the hard road now than have to suffer with this weird feeling of like resentment, hate, avoidance, just all these other factors that just sit inside our belly. So I'd rather have a clear belly, clear it out, and do this one. So I agree with this one. Up here, let's see what number 2 says. Number 2 is opposite action as well. Again, so opposite to emotion for procrastination. Let's see what it says. I love these cards, by the way. Nike has an over 30-year-old ad campaign with the slogan, "Just do it." That's how I read, by the way. Whenever you're faced with lack of motivation, simply take the first step of action and just do it. Make a list of tasks that you have procrastinated on and complete it now. I'm doing this tomorrow. That's so funny that this came out, because this is exactly what I'm doing. Because most of the time, especially in opposite action, we don't want to do these things, right? We set up all these wonderful tasks that we kind of want to do. We have these thoughts that we want to go through, but we do absolutely nothing. Like nothing. We sit there with it and we tell everyone about it. And we go, I'm going to do this one tomorrow. And then I'm going to do this someday when I grow up. And then I'm going to do this one the next day. But you don't do shit. Right? So the main thing is to, like Nike says, or the slogan, or this card says, is just do it. It doesn't mean you have to get to the end. It doesn't mean there has to be an end goal. It doesn't mean that we have to solidify every decision we make with the steps that we're going to take today. But the best thing we can do is just take one step in the direction of the goal or the thought or the dream that you're looking for. Hence, I don't even know what hence means, by the way. I just thought it kind of sounded good at the moment. I am planning a new business online. Right? Something that I do now, like I do with a bunch of people. Why am I afraid to grow this business? Why am I afraid to do things to make my life a little bit better in the way I love doing what I want to do, in the time constraints that I have, and also to kind of coincide with the life that I want to live? Why am I stopping myself from that? Because fear, thoughts of failing, thoughts of people not liking it. But I know they will, because I'm really good at what I do. I'm fucking really good. I have the gift of helping people. And that's one thing I know I have. People tell me all the time, but it's hard to accept that. Right? So the main thing I'm going to do is just start setting it up. Start setting up and moving to the things that I know I can do and what I can control, and at least start the process. And then from there, move on to the next process, and then see what it is we can do. But a lot of us get stuck. We get stuck in the what's going to happen if I'm not good enough. A lot of that and syndromes. I don't want to say imposter or failure, a lot of those syndromes that I'm sure we have in our heads that we feel we are not good enough. But if we don't do anything, nothing's going to happen. So at least take one step. Right? The one thing we can do is at least take one step. But I know that tomorrow I'm going to take one step. One step to a better life. One step to a clearer me. One step to maybe a dream of getting back what I used to do. You know, if you didn't know, back three years ago, this podcast was super depressive. And still days it's really depressive. But now I'm on the mends. I'm back. And I'm really excited to see what happens. Mondays. Fucking Mondays. Shame. I don't want to talk about shame. What's next? Guilt. We talked about guilt already. Anxiety. This is one I want to read. Number 3. Last one. DBT deck. Opposite of emotion for anxiety. Anxiety leads to avoidance of what we fear. To conquer fear and anxiety, approach what makes you anxious one step at a time. Or with one big step if that would work. Knowing that it will cause some discomfort as you work through it. Pick one situation that causes you anxiety. List specific behaviors you need to practice in order to overcome the fears about it. Now take action with the first step. Here's what I would do with this. Because a lot of us cannot think for ourselves, right? A lot of us don't want to even go into the process of what's the first step of doing something we're anxious about. So let's say you want to find a new job, right? I want to find a new job. Here's how we take the thinking out of it. Using 2024's technology. And if you're not into this, you better fucking grasp on and jump onto it, because it's the easiest thing we can do. Okay, you ready? Because I know there's Google Gemini, there's ChatGPT, there's a bunch of different AI robots, I don't want to say robots, but AI programs that you can use to answer this fucking question. At least take the first step. And I use it all the time. For anxiety, to conquer fear and anxiety, approach what makes you anxious one step at a time. Knowing that it will cause you some discomfort as you walk through it, which means it's gonna suck. Right? Knowing that it's going to be tough on this first step, like the step we talked about before, is a perfect transition. It's going to be hard. But like Nike said 30 years ago, we got to do it. Just do it. And what I'm saying is use 2024's technology to help you in the situation. Go to one of those platforms, Google Gemini, ChatGPT, I'm not sure what else, and type in this prompt. As someone looking for a profession in what are the first steps I need to do in order to find a job that I love, that makes me feel good, that I am passionate about? ? And from there, it's going to start spitting shit out. Like, build a resume, make a few calls, find out on Indeed, see where you want to go. Like, a lot of times I can tell you what to do, but I don't want to. Why not go to the source of something that finds every information in the world and then gives you the best answer for you to start moving upon? It's not going to help you get the job, but at least it's going to help you get in process of what it is you need to do. Right? I'm glad I turned this on because this camera turned off. At least I have this one, maybe, but at least I got this one. So check those out when you get into it and at least try. Give it a shot. Because I'll tell you right now, something is better than nothing. Taking a step in a direction is always better than doing nothing. Because doing nothing gets you nowhere. Doing something at least gets you to the step of doing something and finding something or going somewhere. My name is Pete. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for coming out. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm just some crazy motherfucker that goes through a lot of shit. And I'm there with you. And I want to see you ride it out. If you have any questions, comments, comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't. I'll see you guys later.